Good morning, friends. Once again, welcome to the new session of physics today. So, as we have started the concept of motion in the last lecture, we will continue further. But before we start further, let us recall what we have done in the last lecture. So, in the last lecture, my dear friends, we were talking about motion, which is nothing but you can say a kind of movement. अगर एक लाइन में बोले तो it is a kind of movement. This is called motion. And one thing is clear that whenever there will be movement, there will be a change in position of the body. There will be a change in the position of the body. So whenever a body changes its position from one place to another place, the body is said to be in motion. And whenever a body does not change its position, the body is said to be at rest with respect to a reference point. Yesterday, some of the students were asking about the concept of reference point. So, the reference point basically, it is a kind of object, it is a kind of point with which we are comparing. देखिए सिंपल कंसेप्ट है जब हम ये कहते हैं कि व्हाट आपने बोला कोई चीज मूव कर रही है. How do you know whether that object is moving or not? Obviously, you are comparing his position with respect to something, isn't it? किसी ना किसी चीज से आप उसको कंपेयर करेंगे तो वो जो कंपैरिजन पॉइंट है that is called motion. For example, when I move in the class, I told you yesterday also कि all of you are like a reference point. When my position with your respect does not change, I am at rest. But if that position keeps on changing, this is motion. This is motion. Because earlier I was standing here, now I am here, now I am here with respect to you people. So I am in motion. तो reference point क्या है basically कि with comparison to what we are talking about motion or change. That is reference point. So once we are clear with the concept of motion and rest, then we discuss that whenever a body moves from one place to another place, it is called displacement, and in our normal language, it is called distance. But technically, displacement and distance, they are two different terms. In class 9th also you have learned about this. Okay, distance is the actual path covered by the body, which is usually, if you talk about the motor cars or motorbikes, it is represented or you can say observed by odometer. Odometer जो आपका डिस्टेंस को मेजर करता है एक गाड़ी में, उसको ओडोमीटर कहते हैं. तो ओडोमीटर इज एक्चुअली मेजरिंग द एक्चुअल पाथ विच इज ट्रेवल्ड. सपोज ए बॉडी मूव्स फ्रॉम ए टू बी and then go from B to C, which is the final position. So AB plus BC, the actual path traveled is called distance, and displacement is the shortest path from initial to final position. One thing is this. So displacement is the shortest path, whereas distance is the actual path. Any doubt? Very good. So displacement, you can clearly see that I am pointing in a particular direction from initial position to final position. That means whenever this type of quantity is there, where we have magnitude as well as direction, you know, those quantities are called vector quantity. So displacement is a vector quantity, whereas distance is a scalar quantity. Any doubt? So couple of numericals we have seen in our earlier classes also. So we will not discuss about them at present. We will continue further. And the next concept for you will be that whenever a body moves, that body will move in different directions. Sometimes it is one directional, sometimes it is in the two directions, sometimes it is in three directions. That means if it is moving in one direction, it will be called as one directional motion, or we call it as one dimensional motion. One dimensional motion. If it is moving in two directions, it is called two dimensional motion, and if it is moving in three directions, so it is called three dimensional motion. Three dimensional motion. All of these three we will discuss one by one with examples. देखिए, जब भी एक बॉडी एक सपोज स्ट्रेट लाइन में चल रही है, जैसे कि अब एक ट्रेन है, ए ट्रेन इज मूविंग ऑन अ रेलवे ट्रैक, a man is running on let us say an athletics track. These are the example of one dimensional motion. These are the examples of one dimensional motion. And when the body covers or when the body moves in two dimensions, it is called a two-dimensional motion. For example, when a body is moving on the ground, when we are moving in this room, when we are moving in a plane, that is called two-dimensional motion. Suppose there is a lizard walking or crawling on the, you can say, wall. So that is an example of two-dimensional motion, because it is moving along these two axes. You can see, if we are moving on the ground, we are moving along x-axis as well as y. Let us say z-axis. If we take vertical as y. So two-dimensional motion are the examples which I have given. Three-dimensional motion में क्या होगा? Motion will be in the three dimensions, and for example, when you are flying a kite, when you are flying a kite in the sky, kite moves up, down, right, left, everywhere. Similarly, a bird who is flying in the sky, these are the examples of three-dimensional motion. Any doubt in this? So we revised motion and the concept of rest. We discussed about the distance and displacement. Then we discussed about different types of motion, which is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional. And now we will revise some of the concept of motion which we have already done. That whenever a body is moving, it moves from A to B. That means it changes its position from A to B. Obviously, it will be traveling what we call as some distance. It will be traveling some distance or displacement. And in order to move from A to B, my dear friends, it will take some time also. It will take some time also. And what is the relation between the distance and the time? You all know that is called speed. So what is speed, my dear friends? Speed is the distance traveled by the body per unit time. So speed is the distance traveled by the body per unit time. So as I have told you in the last lecture also, dear friends, couple of days we will revise what we have done in our previous classes. So again I am requesting you to just utilize your time, go through your previous books, get the concept solid, so that when we start something new, you should be able to capture it very fast. So speed is distance traveled by the body per unit time, and you all know the distance is measured in kilometers and the time is measured in hour. So the speed will be having a unit kilometers per hour, and if it is measured in meters and the time is taken in seconds, so speed will be meter per second. So mind one very important thing. Sometimes I have seen that the students take these things very lightly. But as a good student, one must appreciate that every quantity has a unit, and that unit is very important to be, you can say, represented there. It is very important to write the unit of measurement, because otherwise, it will not be clear. So when I say the length is 5, the length is 5 means it is not clear. So to bring that clarity, it is very important that one should express the unit. When you say 5 millimeter, it is clear. When you say 5 meters, it is clear. When you say 5 kilometers, it is clear. But when you say only 5, so what is this 5? Length is 5. Whether it is 5 fingers, 5 inches, 5 centimeters, so clear. So speed is distance traveled per unit time, so meters per second or kilometers per hour. And regarding uniform motion, non-uniform motion we have discussed. So today we will be talking about what is called uniform speed. Uniform speed is again the same. Whenever a body travels equal distance in equal interval of time, the body is said to be moving with uniform speed. A body is said to be in uniform speed when it travels equal distance in equal interval of time. Is it clear? Okay. And when it is not like that, it becomes non-uniform speed. So whenever a body is moving with non-uniform speed, it means it will travel unequal distance in equal interval of time. So whenever we have a non-uniform speed, in order to find, we always use what is called average speed. What is called average speed. And what is the formula of average speed? You have done that. It is the total distance. It is the total distance divided by the total time. Total distance divided by total time. So this is your average speed. तो अब हमने क्या बात की, ये स्पीड क्या है, It is the distance traveled by the body per unit time. We have to talk about its unit also. So speed will be having kilometers per hour, and you can say meters per second. And because we are talking about a distance traveled per unit time, and in our previous just couple of minutes before I have told you, a distance is a scalar quantity. It does not have any direction. So my dear friends, just keep in mind, a speed is also a scalar quantity. Speed is a scalar quantity. Reason, a speed depends upon distance, and distance is a scalar quantity and it is not having any direction. So yes, distance is scalar, so speed is also a scalar quantity. Then we discussed about uniform and non-uniform speed, and whenever the body moves with a non-uniform speed, we always go for average speed, which I have told you. It is the distance total divided by the time total. Very good. Any doubt? So in this way we complete our speed also, and the next concept is what we say, what is the velocity. Now whenever a body is covering a distance in a particular you can say direction, the distance in a particular direction is displacement. ठीक है, तो डिस्प्लेसमेंट में क्या होता है तो वो भी डिस्टेंस ही. when I say a body is going from A to C, it is again a distance, but this distance is having direction also. So whenever you have a distance in a particular direction, that is called displacement. Displacement. Is it clear? So now we are going to talk about what is velocity. So velocity is again, you can say it is the rate of change of distance, or you can say what is velocity? It is the displacement. It is the displacement per unit time. Displacement per unit time. अब क्योंकि displacement क्या है? Vector quantity, because displacement is a vector quantity. So velocity is also, very good. So velocity is also a vector quantity. तो अगर हम बात करें डिस्प्लेसमेंट की, डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज अ डिस्टेंस इन पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन. सो ऑब्वियसली इट विल आल्सो हैव what is the unit of distance only, that means kilometers or meters, and because this is time, so it will also have the unit of hours or seconds, that means again kilometers per hour or meters per second. यानी टेक्निकली अगर हम बात करें वैसे ही इन जनरल, तो वी कैन से दैट बोथ स्पीड एंड velocity are you can say same. The only difference is that, सिर्फ difference क्या है? What is the only difference? Difference is what is called their nature. Speed is a scalar quantity, whereas velocity is a vector quantity. स्पीड में डिस्टेंस होती है एक्चुअल एंड डिस्प्लेसमेंट होती है वेलोसिटी में. So technically both are the same because they have same kind of unit. So ultimately only you have to see is one thing that when it is given kilometers per hour and it is written velocity, that means it will have a particular direction. Any doubt, my dear friends? So speed and velocity we have covered, and now we are going to discuss about very simple the last concept for today, and that is the graphical representation. That is the graphical representation of motion. Graphical representation of motion. देखिए, always try to understand whenever we talk about distance time graph, or velocity time graph, the time has to be always on the x-axis. टाइम को हम हमेशा कहाँ लेंगे? x एक्सिस के ऊपर. टाइम को हमेशा कहाँ लिया जाएगा? x एक्सिस के ऊपर. और डिस्प्लेसमेंट को कहाँ लिया जाएगा? या डिस्टेंस को कहाँ लिया जाएगा? या वेलोसिटी को कहाँ लिया जाएगा? y एक्सिस के ऊपर. Any doubt? Now these are representing the distance. Let us say 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meters, 5 meters. Let us say 5 meters. Let us say this is 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. Now when I represent a straight line like this, you can clearly see that when we started, the body was 5 meters away from me. After 10 minutes also, it is 5 meters away from me. After 20 minutes also, after 60 minutes also, it means the body is at rest. It is not changing its position. It is not changing its position. The body is at rest. Any doubt? So this is the graphical representation of a body at rest, when the body is not moving at all. Now if you see about when you talk about this type of graph, you can see that after 10 minutes the body has traveled, let us say 10 meters. After 20, the body has traveled 20. After 30, the body has traveled 30. So this type of motion is, this type of graph is the representation of what is called the motion which is uniform. That means uniform motion. This is the example or graph of uniform motion. Any doubt, my dear friends? ठीक है ना? और अगर वही चीज नॉन यूनिफॉर्म में आ जाए तो it can go like this. It can go like this, a curved path, or it can go like this. This is non-uniform. Rest. What is this? Uniform motion. What is this? Non-uniform motion. So rest we will continue in our next point, but that is one of the very easy concept already done. We will talk about the different types of equations of motion. So my dear friends, in ninth you have done about first equation of motion, second equation of motion, and third equation of motion. So my request is, if you get the time, please just go through the article, and when we take our next lecture, you will be comfortable, and we will develop a confidence. So till the next lecture, take care of yourself, and just keep following the link, whatever I am sending to you. And if you have any doubt on that, you can put the query on the same link as a comment. So I will get back to you. Thank you very much. God bless you, my dear.